Hi, my name's Emily and welcome back to Behind the Style. New format, same kind of vibe, but just me on my own. In wherever I am in the week, I'm going to try and make the time to answer loads of questions and maybe give some people some advice or tips about styling. So anyway, if people are interested, I'm here. So please direct message me and ask me questions about style or styling advice or how to get into styling or anything about clothes really, because I do get a lot of messages and I thought it'd be nice to kind of answer your messages here rather than just doing a direct message back. Let's get started. I'm going to do it from like a closet where I'm at every week. So this week I'm actually at home in London. I know it's not a closet, it's my bed. Somebody asked me a really good question the other day. What's your favourite brand of sunglasses? And I happened upon this LA brand. It's called Eastern Marley and it's really cool actually. So they've got different coloured frames, like kind of cool sunglasses. Like I really like these brown ones. Like if you like something that isn't like really heavily branded, these are really nice. It's kind of cool. So I've used this on some people recently, plus I did a really cute shoot in LA and we used these. So it's the same brand but just like pretend opticals. So anyway, I thought these were really cool and they come in a really nice kind of mock croc thing. Vintage Eyewear do really cute sunglasses. They do a whole range of vintage shades and frames from like 60s, 70s, 80s. I've worn some really cool ones recently from Chopard, but also they do their own range, which is also really cool. So like things like this, if you want something a bit different, I quite like these. I think they're really cool as well. I quite like these because they're really like, they're just nondescript. They're just not blingy. They're just not massively shouting in your face where they're from, which is also quite nice. I buy loads of clothes secondhand. So something I bought recently in the charity shop are these Stussy swim shorts in animal print. I love animal print and I love Stussy and I thought these were really cool actually. So I'm obviously not going to wear them as swimming trunks because they're like, I wouldn't do that. So I'm going to wear these either with flip-flops and a tank on holiday. Also, I think I might wear these when it gets colder with a oversized grey sweater and heels. I think that would be really cool. Bear with me on that. I know when I say things, people are like, what? Anyway, I dress for myself. I don't dress for other people, never have done. So I always wear what I want to wear. I don't really follow massive trends. Sometimes I do, or sometimes I'm just really influenced by trends, but every single day I dress for myself because I'm wearing it and I just think my opinion on what I look like is the only opinion now that I really care about. So I think it just kind of makes it a bit easier. I think it's exhausting to chase the next thing or the next micro trend, and spending money on micro trends for me is like an absolute no-go. I think it's a real waste of money. Another thing I wanted to show you this week, and I want to try and do this every week, is something from my wardrobe that I've had for a long time that I still wear. So I bought these Chloé jeans in, I think it was probably 2002, maybe. Anyway, I was absolutely obsessed with these jeans. I couldn't really afford them at the time, but managed to sort of buy them. And they're Chloé white denim, and they've got this really cool plaited waistband. They're really similar to something that Chloe's got out at the moment. And they've actually really lasted really well because I've not washed them, I've dry cleaned them. So I think if you buy something like this and chuck it on a hot wash, tumble dry it, it will not be around in 20 years' time, but I really look after my clothes. I'm really anal about washing instructions, and if ever I'm in doubt about something, I will wash it on its own cold, or I'll dry clean it, because I've seen some absolute disasters, and then people that I've lent clothes to have washed things and they've come back like shrunk, and it's just annoying. And it's really annoying, actually. It's one thing that really winds me up in life, is when that happens. But it's also because certain things are just completely irreplaceable. So for me, it's about buying something and looking after it, and everything comes around again. Like, this is pretty much exactly what's for sale on Chloé now, 20 years later. My only regret is that I had them altered a little bit too short. I mean, they're fine with the flat, but I can't wear them with a heel, because I got them, but that's my fault, completely my fault. Something else somebody asked me the other day on a styling thing was how to get, when you're starting out, like how to get better celebrity clients. And I think it's the same with any aspect of any job. You've just got to keep going. And a motto of mine in life has always been like survival of the fittest, but not just physically, mentally. And I think that's really stood me in good stead over my career, because I've worked in many aspects of the fashion industry. I've worked for people, I've worked behind the scenes, I've worked styling for people. I've had my own business, I've had my own brand, I've had my own stores. And the thing that I think sets people who succeed within the fashion industry apart from those who don't is you've just got to keep going. And it's really hard sometimes, and every single person gets disillusioned and disappointed and sad that things aren't going the way that they want them to go. And I used to like look at people and think, oh God, it's not fair, I could do that, or like I wish I had that opportunity, or da-da-da. And I really think that things come along when they're supposed to come along. I think you've got to put in a huge amount of hard work and personal sacrifice, and more times than not, things don't work out. Like, even if you're doing a shoot or an editorial, or there's more times in my career that I would say things haven't gone how I thought they were going to go than how they did go. But I'm also at a place now where I can see the path behind me and why things didn't align maybe when I thought they should have aligned, and when I wanted things to propel at a faster pace, they perhaps didn't. But actually, looking back, I can really see why, if anyone believes in like the bigger picture of the universe or anything like that, I really do. And I think for me, I needed to definitely be able to have children. Like, being a mother's been a really important part of my life, and I think I'm really glad that I didn't miss out on that, even though I'm not as far ahead as I could be. But I'm really glad that that's part of my journey, because sometimes it can be really frustrating and you get really caught up in the, like, I'm not where I should be, and, you know, time's going and there's all these young people doing all this amazing stuff and I'm not doing what I should be. But I really think you just have to be really, really patient. And one thing that I've done really well is I've worked really, really, really hard, and I've never left a job and thought, oh, I probably could have done better. Like, even if I was given the wrong brief, or, you know, something happened that was completely out of my control, I did the best that I could do to make the situation right. And I think that's 100% the key to styling. And I think to any young stylists, it's not just about, I know everyone's really focused on it, but it's not just about assisting. It's not, being a good stylist isn't saying I help that person on that job. Like, being a good stylist is finding in your heart what you really want to say with clothes. And that ultimately is what being a stylist is. anyone who's assisting, I think, should also be trying to build their own aesthetic in their head, because being an assistant is very different from being a stylist. So, you know, as people who assist me know, there's a lot of admin, there's tons of emails, there's receipts, there's returns, there's managing live Google documents, there's a lot of admin involved and less creative. Definitely people who assist me, but I think it's really, really important to keep doing test shoots. Doesn't matter if you haven't got any money. No one has any money to start with. And my most creative moments of my career have been when I haven't had any budget and no money. And you have to find and dig deep inside you and really, really find your aesthetic. And that's something that I've had to do even this year again. I've had to really realign who I am, what I want to do, what I want to say, who I want to work for. Because you can get things can go off on a tangent, or stuff happens out of your control. So I think it's really important for everybody to just keep finding that momentum. And if you're assisting, try and make time on the weekends or when you're not working to do test shoots with other people who are at the same stage as you. I think that's really important. And I think that's a really, really good way of understanding also who you want to assist, because if what you want to do isn't anything like the person you're assisting does, then maybe it's time for a change. So those are my pieces of advice. Also, someone asked me the other day how I deal with jet lag. I do fly a lot. I have a couple of things that I do. I eat before I get on the plane. I don't eat on a plane, however long the flight is. So even if a flight's 11 hours to Los Angeles, I don't eat, because for me, it makes me feel really bad for a couple of days when I get off a plane. So I eat before and then I eat afterwards. So that's what I do. And I try and be as healthy as I can. It doesn't always work. I give myself a bit of a hard time if I can't be. I also have ClassPass, so I try and exercise wherever I am, be it Pilates. I do loads of hot yoga in London, so I try and do that wherever I am. Again, it's really hard if you have a really early call time or a really late fitting. What you want to do goes out the window, but that's always in the back of my mind to try and do. And for the sleeping, I take a melatonin tablet when I get there, and then for the couple of nights if I'm away, and then when I come back, and then I try and not take them because they're quite addictive. That's what I try and do. And the rest is, I guess, I really like what I do, so I don't really ever feel exhausted or resentful because I've flown to a different country, because that's kind of what I wanted in my career, and that's kind of what I sort of asked the universe to do. And I think if you're really truly happy doing what you do, a lot of my job is adrenaline driven, and yeah, I think if you enjoy what you do and you work with nice people, it doesn't really affect me. So yeah, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this week's session. I hope to be able to continue to do this every week as much as I can. If anyone's got any questions, please direct message me and ask me.